Witches, 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 witches. For centuries, the figure of the witch has fascinated and terrified a lot of people around the world. We see witches in fairy tales, we see witches in movies, and even in Halloween costumes. But how much of what we know is actually real? Well, in this video, we are going to explore if witches are only a part of old history or maybe there is something more. So yeah, that's the topic of this video again. Witches. The idea of witches go back much further than we might think. In ancient times, cultures had beliefs about people who could control mysterious forces. For example, the ancient Greeks believed in Hecate, the goddess of magic and witchcraft. She was seen as a powerful figure who could control the moon, the underworld, and even could control life and death. But were these beliefs only superstition? Or did people really believe in such powers? Well, in the Middle Ages, things began to change a little bit. The church became a powerful force in Europe, thanks Europe, and anything related to magic was considered dangerous. The church believed that witches made deals with the devil, trading their souls for supernatural abilities. This fear of witches wasn't just about magic though. It was about control. Everything in life is about control. Remember that. However, the church wanted to stop anything they couldn't understand or didn't approve of. Familiar? Okay. One of the key moments in the history of witchcraft was the publication of a book called the Malleus Maleficarum in 1487. This book was a guide for hunting witches and accused them of everything from causing bad weather to harming crops. Yeah, it's crazy. The book had a major impact and soon witch hunts spread across Europe. Thousands of people, mostly women, were accused of being witches and many were executed. But what made people so afraid? Do you think it was magic or was there something else driving the accusations? When we think of witches, one of the first places that comes to mind is Europe. Nah, it's not Europe this time. It is Salem, Massachusetts, in the United States. The Salem witch trials of 1692 are one of the most famous cases of witch hysteria. It all started when a group of young women began behaving strangely. They screamed, contorted their bodies, and claimed they were being tormented by invisible forces. Doctors couldn't explain their behavior, so the town's leaders turned to a familiar explanation. Can you tell what the explanation was? Oh yeah, witchcraft. Exactly. So over the next several months, the town descended into chaos. People accused their neighbors, their friends, and even family members of being witches. Why did this happen? Well, some say it was the fear of the unknown, others say it was personal grudges. But whatever the cause was, the result was really tragic. 19 people were hanged, and one man was crushed to death under heavy stones. Were these people really witches, or were they victims of mass hysteria? Leave that in the comments. Now, things like this didn't only happen in Massachusetts. Can you guess where else this happened? If you said Europe, oh yeah, you're right. This happened in Europe, and it's actually one of the most notable cases that involved a woman named Alice Kittler. In 1324, Alice was accused of using witchcraft to, kill her husbands, 4 husbands actually, in order to gain their money. Now, she was the first person in Ireland to be charged with witchcraft, and her case became famous because of how unusual it was. Unlike most accused witches, Alice was healthy and powerful. Her accusers were people who were envious of her success. Yeah, that happens a lot. Now, while Alice managed to escape and avoid punishment, her maid Petronilla was tortured and burned at the stake. What a shame. But why do you think Alice was able to escape while so many others weren't? Do you have an idea? Yeah, that happens all the time. Never mind, Alice Kittler's story raises an important question. You ready? Were these accusations really about magic? Or were they a way to control or punish people who didn't fit into society's norms? These kind of things happened in those days too. Now, you might be thinking that witch hunts and accusations belong only to the past, but you will be very surprised. Even in the 21st century, there have been real crimes connected to the belief in witchcraft. One of the most shocking cases occurred in 2010 in London. Christy Bum, a 15-year-old boy, was visiting his sister and her partner during the Christmas holidays. At first, everything seemed normal, but soon things took a dark turn. His sister partner, Eric Bickerby, became convinced that Christy was practicing witchcraft. Eric believed Christy had put a curse on the family. The situation escalated quickly, and over the next few days, Christy was subjected to brutal torture as his sister stood by, believing in these accusations. Now, the torture ended, obviously, and unfortunately, with Christy's death. And both his sister and Eric were arrested. They claimed they were trying to drive out evil spirits. How can such beliefs still exist in our modern world? What drives people to commit such acts in the name of witchcraft? Now, these cases aren't the only ones, unfortunately. Across the world, belief in witchcraft can still lead to violence. But I'm not going to talk about all of them in this video. If you would like to hear more about them, leave that in the comments, and maybe I will do that. Because there are a lot of cases of witchcraft around the world. Now, the idea of witches has changed over time, and we know that. From ancient beliefs in goddesses and healers to fear-driven witch hunts in the Middle Ages. And even though we live in a time where science and logic explain much of the world around us, the fear of witches and magic has never disappeared. And to be honest, I don't see that coming to an end very soon. But why do you think this is? Is it human nature to fear what we don't understand? Or is there something deeper that keeps these old beliefs alive? Well, that has been all for this video, And as we look at both historical and modern cases, it's clear that the idea of witches is more than just a story. It's a reflection of human society. It's a reflection of how we deal with fear, control, and power. The real question is, will we ever be stopped from fearing witches? Or will they continue to hunt? Or will they continue to haunt us in unexpected ways? We will talk about that in other video. For now, that will be all for the Wild Worlds Files. See you next time.